Hi, I'm Jeff. I'm in the Head Cemetery in Hooksett, New Hampshire, the final resting place of New Hampshire's 37th Governor Nathanial Head. His tombstone is right there behind me under this big, tall pine tree. Also buried here is his wife and his two children, as well as other members of the Head family. Governor Head is the only governor from Hooksett, New Hampshire to date, which is a small town located between Concord and Manchester. About a mile down the road, off camera, is where his residence was. There's actually a family living there now, a private family, so it's not considered a place for people to go visit as a historical site or anything like that. And also, there is a sign in front of the residence, an old wooden sign that may have been put there by the residents themselves, or I don't know who, but it certainly wasn't a state marker, that basically says this is the home of New Hampshire Governor Natt Head. Now, he had an interesting story, which I want to get to before I actually show you the actual stone in detail. He actually ran for the state senate in 1874, I think, and the race was so close, nobody won the majority of the vote. He was a Republican. And in those days, the New Hampshire legislature would have to decide if there wasn't a majority, who would actually get the position. And he was a Republican, and the legislature was a Republican. But you know what? He didn't get in. And you want to know why? Simply because on the ballot, he went by his nickname, Natt Head. The legislature was disappointed that he didn't use his Christian name, Nathanial. Now, can you imagine that? Not being elected to a position simply because your name wasn't thought to be politically correct in those days. Well, that's what happened to him. Although he did win the following term in 1876, and then he won the 1878 New Hampshire governor's race. So let's turn around, take a walk up to the stone, and see what else there is to look at the stone. And here is the monument for Governor Natt Head. Stands kind of tall in this pine tree, very buried by this tree. Stands maybe 12 feet tall, I'm thinking. I didn't measure it, but that's what it looks like to me. And if you look, it says here, Natt Head, born May 20th, 1828, died November 12th, 1883, Governor of New Hampshire. And there it is. Governor Head only served for one term. During that time, the New Hampshire State Prison became operational. First warden's name was Trueworthy B. Dearborn. Not sure if the Governor Head had anything to do with making that appointment or if it was his predecessor, but that's who it was. And also, during his term, he enacted child labor laws. And then also decided, thought it was important for railroad stations. He was involved heavily in the railroads himself as a businessman and construction person. And he thought railroads should have telegraphs. So a law was enacted during his time that required that. The backside of his stone, Lewis Fish, Alice Purley, children of Natt Head. So these are his kids. And on this side is the stone recognizing his wife, the former New Hampshire First Lady, Abby Sanford Head, who died in 1913. That's roughly 30 years after he died. This is the governor's personal headstone and the First Lady's headstone, and then the two kids that are mentioned. Rest in peace, Governor Head. That's going to do it for my tribute to former Governor Natt Head. I hope to do more of these historical type videos, particularly when it comes to historical New Hampshire on my channel. Even though I also do beer reviews and other things, I'm getting more and more interested in documenting things from the past. So if you like this video, click like and subscribe to my channel. I can only ask you to do that. It's your choice, but I would appreciate it much. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you again another time.